the horrible, horrible things it did, and has basically played a major role in what's going on in Florida and throughout the country, is the repeal of the one-way attorney's fees, meaning you have hurricane damage, and the insurance company wants to lowball you, which we've been, heck, it was on 60 Minutes where Heritage, the guy comes out, says you have $200,000, they offer him 15,000, and he sues them and so forth. But now, after March 24th of 2023, if you have to sue your own insurance company, whether it be your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, there's no longer the provision where if you win, they have to pay your attorney's fees. And we've talked about this, and that's not the subject of this this podcast, so to speak.
But it's a familiar topic.
But I will tell you this: every single person listening should call their legislator in Florida, their senator, their local representative, and the governor, bomb them and say, look, that law was 130 years old, and it was here for a reason, to keep insurance companies honest. Because I got news for you, without the fee provision, they're not paying. And that's not the subject of this podcast, but I implore you to bomb your legislature.
All right, let's change that word.
Fax bomb, fax email.
Let's overwhelm them.
Oh, I know. Given what's going on today.
Them.
Anyway, to fax bomb, to email bomb, to call on the phone and say, look, what you did as far as holding insurance companies responsible by taking away the fee provision was horrible. All right, but let's move on. They did other things, but one of the things they did was change the evidence code when it comes to medical bills, and past and future, and a few other things as it relates to your damages in when you're hurt, dog bite, slip and fall, car wreck.
What's the evidence code?
Well, before the tort reform law of last year, you couldn't really talk about insurance. You couldn't say, well, look, Blue Cross and Blue Shield or United Healthcare or Medicare or Medicaid or would pay this amount of money.
Okay.
Therefore, juries, you should only award this amount. Okay. Because, if Medicare only pays, $200 for this procedure, then that's the reasonable amount of the procedure. Well, obviously that's a joke. These insurance companies negotiate with the medical providers. The government basically tells you what they're going to pay, and so forth. So it's really not a accurate reflection of what the worth is. And I'll give you an example. I had my shoulder surgery. It's about a 2-hour deal. Board certified orthopedic surgeon, right? Do you know how much he got? $1,100. Brittany's transmission took a dump on us this weekend. It's down to the transmission shop getting rebuilt. $4,000. Yeah. So I got a board certified orthopedic surgeon reconstructing my shoulder, so to speak. He gets $1,000. No offense, but I've got a mechanic rebuilding a transmission, and he gets $4,000. So it's the point of the story is what these insurance companies pay is not a reasonable amount. It doesn't
seem like it makes sense.
Right. Okay. So anyway, that's one of the things they did. Now you can go in and say that, well, Medicare would pay this and the insurance would pay that. And even if you don't have insurance to pay it, they can still say, well, this is what they pay. So the person should not.
Now you can argue comparative rates.
You can just bring in insurance and muddy the waters and confuse people and say, well, Jason doesn't have insurance. His bill's $50,000, but Medicare would pay, $200. So give Jason $200, but he still is going to owe $49,800 of the bill.
Paul, that's disgusting.
That's why we call it tort reform on this side of the table. It is. But hold on, it's worse. So there was an issue, and we had talked about this as because the plaintiffs bar in Florida knew that this was coming. And they knew Governor DeSantis was going to sign this bill because they gave you a heads up. on March 24th of 2023, right? So it would be
Okay.
safe to say 50 to 100,000 lawsuits were filed in the 2-week period before this law took effect. Little Reed and
Okay.
Reed here, we filed 50 of our own.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, get 'em in.
because if you filed before the
The
statute,
change.
then the old law, would apply.
Would be effect.
Filed after March 24th or after the new law. You with me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so it gets filed, and the defense industry comes up with a plan, which means the insurance company and the defense firm say, look, let's try to get a judge or two to say that even though the law says it takes effect on March 24th of 2023 after it's signed, let's get a judge or two to say, hey, no, this is a procedural law, and therefore it actually takes effect before March 24th, 2023. You with me?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a judge in Hillsborough County, and I will, we'll call her nameless. It was a her.
Okay. Okay.
Who went out of her way in a 41-page order, mind you, against Morgan and Morgan. It was one of Morgan and Morgan's cases.
Oh boy.
A 41-page order saying, well, and she was pulling stuff out of thin air and this and that, but ultimately held that the law took effect before March 24th, 2023. That it was procedural in nature, so it applies to all cases that are currently pending in Florida. You with me?
Okay. Yeah.
That would mean all those 50 to 100,000
retroactive.
Cases, yeah, retroactive. Yes.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Layman's terms.
the wheels of justice are slow, and we've talked about that. It's not like TV. Everybody thinks you shoot someone and you got a trial for murder the next day, or you see them. They're in a bus crash or a bike crash, and they're still in the sling and the broken arm when they're walking into the court. It doesn't work like that. It's 2 or 3. All right. So
I have a friend who says they're oiled. The gears of government are oiled in epoxy.
All right. So here's the deal. At some point, there was a car wreck case down in the 5th Circuit Court of Appeal, which, if I'm not, I can't see, but I believe the 5th Circuit's in the Duval County, Jacksonville area.
Okay.
Okay, so it was a car wreck, and the judge in that case, like about 99% of all the other judges in Florida, said this is not retroactive. It is for cases, and this case was filed in 2019. They wanted to apply this law to this case with 2019. The judge said no, and the plaintiffs prevailed. And
you're making it very clear.
The defense filed an appeal, arguing, among other things, that the law, it's 768.0427, is retroactive. You with me so far?
Yes. So I'll recap.
And this is the first appellate court to hear the argument. And so it was really up to the judges at the trial level to decide whether they want to apply it retroactively or not. The great majority can read and applied it, did not apply it retroactively. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Stay with me. So,
I'm with you. I'm
going to read the ruling, part of it, and then you're going to say, well, why would any judge think otherwise? So here's what they said.
Okay.
Wolf stands by his view that the court should have applied section 768.0427 retroactively, that it's procedural in nature or remedial.
Okay. And Wolf is
the defendant.
The defendant. Okay.
The plaintiff won.
Right.
The defendant lost, and they wanted to apply this statute, among other things, to
their argument.
Limit what the jury would hear as far as what the medical bills, past and future, are and should be.
Understood.
Okay. Here's their the appellate court's response. Mind you, there's 3 judges.
Okay.
The insurmountable obstacle facing Wolf's argument is the statutes enacting legislation, meaning the statute says when the law takes effect.
Okay, right.
That's what enacting legislation is. They always say
Right.
when it takes
Yep.
effect. All right, no
Right.
big deal.
Yep.
That's standard. It states, except as otherwise expressly provided in this act. Then they go bold letters, bold letters, which they don't always. This
They
act
should
shall
red
apply
letter.
to causes of action filed after the effective date of this act, which is March 24th, 2023.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
They didn't go on for 41 pages trying to convince you that it's retroactive.
Right.
They went on for a paragraph,
Bold print.
sentences that says we can read, and it says it takes effect March 24th, 2023. Thank you. Have a nice day. So what does that do? Now, because it's the only appellate court in Florida to have ruled on this issue as to retroactivity versus March 24th, 2023. It
becomes a precedent then.
In all of Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, not just in the 5th district. Now, which is not going to happen, but if some other appellate court, ruled otherwise, then that ruling, finding that it's not retroactive would apply to the counties in the 5th Circuit. And let's say it was the 2nd Circuit here that found otherwise, and then the other 4 circuits get to choose which one they want to do.
So the dissenting opinion of the Hillsborough County judge.
Well, she's not even a dissenting opinion. She was a trial court judge, so she just got smoked.
Overruled. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
But guess what? This judge didn't like it. So she wrote a 40, 50 page, recitation on why she's right and why they're wrong.
Okay.
And the immortal words of Chris Berman, come on, man.
Come on, man. Well, I mean, it's pretty much refer to the statute if it gives a window or gives any kind of indicator.
It was easy.
Yeah. You have to follow.
The insurmountable obstacle for you, Mr. Wolf, is the act says it takes effect March 24, 2023.
Overwhelming. Yeah. It's overwhelmingly clear.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is what you got to deal with
it's horrible
when you're a lawyer and you go to court.
Paul, how have you
would think, hold on, that this would have been a slam dunk.
Right. Yeah.
Your Honor, the statute says it takes effect March 24th, 2023. That should have been your whole argument.
Yeah. How do you not lose hope in people? Like it's it's Christmas time, right? You got a Christmas cheer and all that good stuff. But
alcohol.
People constantly remind me how like frustrating it is to be among them. Just
yeah. Oh, I hear you. So anyway, I like I said, I drink. Because
top 10 answers on the board survey says.
Hey, when the Morgan & Morgan lawyers walked out of that courtroom, they had to just be shaking their heads.
Yeah. So must everybody, but the person who is injured is the one who loses worst.
Oh, always.
In all of that.
Yeah.
Like, we don't like to hear.
They think they're like sticking it to the lawyers, and it's unfortunately they're not. They're sticking it to you and the people that are injured and things of that nature. But c'est la vie.
Yes, it's frustrating because even in doing the home education work that I'm doing, there's so much out there that's people talk about without understanding the real true impacts of some of what's being said or pushed.
Well,
and it's like,
all right. Well, I didn't want to take up a lot of time. It's what is it? It's December the 13th. The Brandon Christmas parade is tomorrow. That's cool. Looking forward to it. We'll get you some pictures. The truck,
please,
is all lit up.
Lights?
So we paid young guy come out here and he put strings and strings of lights, literally with little blue painter's tape, and we're gonna have a blow up in the back and some music, and so it's gonna be fun. But yeah,
That's
we'll
cool,
get some
man.
pictures,
Very
and
cool.
so you can share it with the TV land, so to speak.
Yeah. And we did the hashtags and all that there where people
Yeah,
can
that's
follow
cool.
on social media last week, so that'll be good. It'll be
All
fun,
right.
man.
Well, I guess that's it for
Okay.
today. Yeah, it's just I would I would advise you because there for the grace of God go all of us. Maybe your house did not sustain hurricane damage, but that doesn't mean that you may have issues with your auto insurance at some point where they don't want to pay. And honestly, you have to ask yourself, why did the Florida legislature do away with that statute? And it's just money. It's just that
Yeah,
simple. It served no purpose,
it
uh,
sucks, but that's true.
but to save insurance companies money. I mean, that's simple, and at your expense. Because
Yeah.
guess what? I get calls pretty much or emails to the website daily on small $1,000 this or 2,000 or 4,000 or 5,000, and a lawyer is not going to take that case, and because you have to file a lawsuit, and for what, $5,000, when that's what the person wants, $5,000. What good does it do you?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have an answer for them. I'm like,
Mm.
well, yeah, if you paid me, it's a 2-year process. We got to litigate it. It'd be, 25,000. You're only asking for 5,000. You see the
Yeah.
problem. And so,
Yeah.
but if, the insurance company had to pay, and remember, people
They
don't get
just get
it.
to
They
rake it
don't
in,
have to
dude.
pay if they're right. If they win and you're not entitled to whatever it is they're wanting to give you, well, then I don't get my fees.
Yeah.
So it's not, oh, you just file suit and you get paid. No,
Right.
your client, the insured, still has to be right. They
Right.
still have to be owed something that they're not getting.
Right.
Well,
It's
people
very
forget that.
frustrating.
If the insurance company is right and they're correct, well, guess what? They're going to win, and they're not going to have to pay attorney's fees.
Yeah.
But understand this as well. I'll say 99 out of 100 times, well, if the insurance company's right, I'm not going to waste my time.
No. And I don't mean to besmirch anybody when I say this. It's just
Mhm.
the reality of it, but insurance companies are not in it to do the right thing. They're in it to make money. It's a business, bottom line. It's about
Simple as
making money.
that.
There are people who are good people who want to do the right thing. So I'm not saying there's no
Sure,
way,
I totally agree. A lot of them,
but
an
but it's a
awful lot of them,
business.
an
It's
awful
it's
lot
a
of
business, a
them. Mhm.
profit
Well, and
margin business.
it's not going to happen. I'll probably get, anyway, now you can't say anything, but
Yeah,
make
probably.
insurance not for profit and all this goes away.
Mm,
Not going to happen. Make
mm-mm.
insurance a not for profit business.
It's an interesting
All of
concept.
it goes away.
Mm, mm, That is because they have caps on right
It's
on
not for
salaries and
profit.
things. Yeah,
If you bring in $1 billion in premiums, you got to pay out $1 billion.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oof, what a thought.
Yeah.
What a thought. All
All
right,
right,
so
get
your
us out of
weekend
here.
is full
Take us
of Mary
home.
Cheer parade of lights.
Take us home.
You got it. You got it. Here we go.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.